Hello, hello. Welcome to another episode of Lab It Like It's Hot. It's just me this week. So this is going to be the Shorty Monica episode. Unfortunately, Melena's a little bit under the weather. It's definitely that time of year where you're going to catch a bug, lay on the couch, go through probably a couple boxes of tissue, lots of hot beverages, and probably enough sleep that your body's like, thank you. I've been needing that. So this one is just going to be a little short one. We're going to talk a little bit about what's been going on over the last couple of weeks in the IndyCar news and silly season. And the reason why we haven't really talked about in depth about what's been happening in IndyCar is because we've been having way too much fun talking with some incredible women in motorsport over the last couple of weeks during our Hot Laps segment. So if you haven't listened to those episodes, please stop. Pause this episode, go back and listen to all of the amazing episodes that we have had up over the last couple of weeks. I won't feel bad. You can always come back and listen to me afterwards. But we had an amazing time. It's such an amazing community of incredible kick-ass women in motorsport. I can't even thank them enough for taking time out of their days to talk to us and get silly with it and talk everything around IndyCar and silly season and NASCAR and what the hell a stage 2 nap is. And the fact that I fell in love with the Charlotte Roval, to talking about IMSA and Rexy, to some F1 and what's been happening in the F1 universe. So first and foremost, to Marley, to Andrea, to MJ, to Gracie, to Celine, to Meg, to Megan, to Dana, and to Mia. Thank you. Thank you for joining us. It was an incredible time, and I'll plug it again. Go back and listen. They are some of the best episodes ever. We had so much fun, and we cannot wait to have these amazing ladies back on the podcast. But so it's just going to be me today, and we'll talk a little bit about news, and we'll kind of just see what's been going on in the IndyCar universe. It's the end of the year, which means a lot of these teams have been dotting I's and crossing T's and making sure that Q4 ends, and they're all going to take off for the holiday. And then after the new year, that's really when 2026 IndyCar season starts. So it's been fairly quiet. It's normal. We're just kind of sitting here poking at the IndyCar teams going, hey, do something. But that's what today's going to be. So let's get started. Is some news. I hate to say this is not going to be in chronological order. Some of it might have already happened, weeks ago when we were talking with the amazing girls and ladies that we were talking with, and some of it might have happened literally yesterday. So I apologize that the chronological order, not going to happen here. It's going to be hot take season. If you've been listening to us for a while, you know that I don't hold back. But we'll kick it off with some incredible news around Ryan Hunter-Reay. So over the last week or so, Arrow McLaren on socials has been teasing a lot around who their Indy 500 entry is going to be. It is very crazy to think that it's November of 2025 and McLaren was already solidifying a 2026 Indy 500 fourth entry. Usually we get them in the new year. Maybe St. Pete happens and we start thinking about it. But I think with the signing of Jack Harvey at DRR already, literally on a hood of a car in Nashville, teams are just kind of like, when the deal's done, let's build momentum. So, Ryan Hunter-Reay has an exciting opportunity with Arrow McLaren to potentially even win the Indy 500 for the second time next year. What's interesting about this is that it's not just a one and done, right? So Ryan has the opportunity to do multiple races and Indy 500 bids with McLaren, which I think is really interesting. And what's even more interesting about it is that he's going to be attending all of the races next year. So it makes sense why they announced it so early, because he's going to be in St. Pete. He's going to be at Long Beach. He's going to be in Phoenix, right? In the beginning stages of the 2026 season. But I think it's a great idea. He already has such strong working relationships with the team. Him and TK have known each other for a very long time. They were competitors. They drove against each other. And now with TK leading the helm at McLaren, It makes sense. And there's probably some engineers and some strategists and some people that at Arrow McLaren that Ryan Hunter-Reay has worked with in the past, right? And so I do think that bringing in familiar faces and successful past experiences, especially with Ryan is a treasure trove of information and knowledge, right? And over the last 2 seasons, you had Kyle Larson trying to do the double, which, you have somebody who really doesn't have true IndyCar acumen. And really that first year he did the double, he basically didn't know what was going on, right? To somebody who has won the Indy 500 already, which I think with TK winning one and with Ryan winning one, it might be really good for the other drivers, right? To get that experience and to get that, strong relationship with him and, that comfort of returning to a team with familiar faces. So, his veteran insights are going to improve and hopefully he has a chance, right? We all watched this year, devastatingly enough, he had it. If it wasn't for like Mia said in her episode, it was like not even, it was like a spitting distance away. And I think that if Ryan can achieve that with a one-off entry, what can he do with the resourcing, the time, and the momentum that McLaren has? While as a Pato Award fangirly myself, there's also a lot of competition within the team, right? You're going to have Pato, who is painstakingly hungry, searching for something to happen at the Indy 500. You have Christian Lundgaard, which I think he's going to be a massive competitor in 2026. And you even have Nolan, who I think, next year is going to be a gotta show up and gotta perform kind of year. So he can't be, in the back of the grid starting in the 500. So it'll be very interesting to see what happens. I am ecstatic. I do have to say, kudos to the Arrow McLaren team for their incredible social media scavenger hunt. That was probably one of the best moments I had, being like counting the stars on the social posts and then seeing, the 98 on the dial of the radio, and immediately people were sleuthing. It was very Taylor Swift coded, and you made IndyCar fans look for Easter eggs. So kudos to the incredible Arrow McLaren social media team for getting that done. So I would not be shocked that he's going to be a favorite for the 500 next year. And we'll see. We'll see what happens. And man, it'll be so crazy to see Captain America and Papaya. I can't wait. I already know my credit card's already sweating on how many times I'm going to swipe for some awesome merch. And I can't wait for the livery. Oh, if it's not perfectly Captain America themed, I don't know. I don't want it. So, good luck, Ryan. Can't wait to see you on the grid. We also are going to talk a little bit about some signings in silly season. So we'll start with kind of the business as usual. What happens kind of in the off season is some contract extensions. So the first one that came out was from RLL, where they have extended Louis Foster on a long-term contract. And I think that with his performance in Indy Next and also kind of leading the RLL team, last season, it makes sense. I think RLL needs young talent. Graham, every season when the checker flag lands on the last race, people are like, all right, is this the year that Graham hangs up his boots? And eventually it's going to happen. It's going to happen where Graham's going to make the decision of it's time for me to be a dad, and I've built my own, racing empires elsewhere, and I have my own side hustles that I want to keep doing, and I'll just remain being a key strategist on the team and not a driver. And you have this revolving door seat where Devlin is sitting in, where it's kind of have been a pay to play, got a budget, come and try your time at IndyCar. And it seems like there hasn't been a lot of performance coming out of that seat. And Louis comes in with his Indy Next winnings money, and he's just like, all right, I got this. Winning pole at Road America, he had good momentum. I still think that RLL still has a lot of work to do on building a better car for the drivers, but he's consistent. The team loves him, and he's been actually really good at finding sponsors for his ride, right? So he has the tequila partnership. He just got the ongoing partnership with Droplight and got the renewal there, right? So those dollars and cents clearly helped him with this contract negotiation. But I also do think that RLL is looking for the future. They're looking for a future driver like Graham that can be with the team for multiple years and be that veteran coach to say, hey, I came up from the Indy Lights ladder. I've worked really hard to become consistent with the vehicles and the tools that the team has given me. Let me help you. So I know very quickly Louis has become a fan favorite, and I don't think that's going to stop anytime soon. So I'm very excited to continue to be seeing that beautiful caterpillar mustache growing and being shaved off at moments in time. I don't know what it is with these drivers. They feel like if I grow a mustache, something good will happen. And guess what? It happened for Christian Lundgaard and it happened to Louis Foster. So keep the Selleck mustaches coming, and I guess good luck will come to you. Speaking of additional facial hair, we also have the bearded Kyle Kirkwood also getting another contract extension with Andretti Global. I'm not surprised about this, honestly. I'm not surprised if Kyle was getting some very lucrative offers from other teams. I wouldn't be surprised if Zach Brown was poking around being like, hey, what are you doing in 2027? Want to come race for me? Or, I can see a Penske looking in saying, what's going on? Or a Foyt, right? But with Colton moving on to Cadillac F1 team and basically Kyle being the number one driver last year, I'm not surprised that he said, I'm going to be for, signing with my loyalty to Andretti. His commitment reflects a desire to build a successful team within Andretti. And think about it this way. Andretti hasn't won a championship since 2012. If I think about 2012-year-old Monica, I was wearing very, very, very heavy contoured makeup. My eyebrows were very thick. God, what a time to be alive. And I was listening to the likes of Kesha and Kygo and probably having UV blue. Enough said, right? So it's been a while. And thinking about how strong Kyle had last season, being one of the only drivers that could take Alex Palou, I still think that consistency, if Kyle can be consistent on ovals, it looks like he's got the street courses down. They called him and named him the Street King last season. He did some, great performances on road courses. It's those ovals I think he still needs a little bit more oomph around. So I'm very excited to see kind of Kyle take that leadership spot on the team. With Will Power coming in, I think it's good that Kyle kind of makes a stance of like, I am the team leader here. I understand that you're coming in with years and years and years and years of experience and championship wins and 500 win, but I'm the team lead here. I know the ins and outs and I have great relationships with the team. And I don't see Will fighting that. It is a little weird, right? It's like those memes where you go and work for a startup in your 40s and your boss is 22 and you're like, what the hell is going on here? But I think that partnership works. And then you have the question mark of Marcus Ericsson and whether or not he decides to come and show up and actually, check in for work. But that's besides the point. I will not. Soapbox is pushed away. So the loyalty, extends his time, at Andretti. He also re-signed with Vassar Sullivan with IMSA as well. So he is sitting pretty. And I think that if he consistently has the same results and he consistently shows up as that Andretti driver, I would love to see Kyle Kirkwood on the front step all the time. He deserves it. He is infectiously positive. He is just an all-around good guy. And he grew a beard and he all of a sudden became really, really consistent. So what is it with facial hair and consistency in IndyCar? I don't know. For the folks that know, drop a comment in one of our posts to let me know what the hell is going on with facial hair and the need to win. So we'll see. So we got some contract extensions. Multi-year contract extensions are as solid as the paper they're written on. So even though the commitment to sign these two drivers are, hey, multi-year, we never know what's going to happen. We're never going to know when a shoe's going to drop. Is Joseph Newgarden going to retire? Is Graham Rahal going to retire? Is Alex Palou going to take a seat in F1? Who the hell knows, right? But for now, we have Louis Foster at RLL, and we have Kyle Kirkwood staying at Andretti. We did have a new rookie signing coming up for the 2026 season. It's so nice to have so many rookies on the grid. It's going to cause a little bit of chaos, and I love it. Kyle Collette has signed with AJ Foyt Racing to be teammates with Santino Ferrucci after finishing third in the Indy Next Championship in 2024, right? Kyle was kick-ass in F2. He comes from the European open wheel racing side, but then he meandered over into Indy Next. And part of me, tinfoil hat, thinks that looking at the success that Marcus Armstrong had and the relationships that Kyle has to Marcus and a lot of his friends and family, I think he saw coming into Indy Next and spending some time kind of cooking in Indy Next was the right move. Seeing the seats in F1 dwindle down, and dwindle down. So having those 2 years in Indy Next with, multiple victories, all double-digit podiums, I think it was essential for his preparation to get into IndyCar. And, he's got some big shoes to fill. That was the seat by David Malukas, right? David Malukas came in and kind of didn't wipe the floor clean with Santino. I think they were pretty evenly matched, but David had the momentum behind him. I think Santino struggled a lot this season. I think there have been a lot of outside forces happening, especially with the passing of Sexton's Property co-founder and kind of that question mark of what's happening with the funding for Santino's seat into 2026, which we did see that there is a new title sponsor coming with a new livery. So it'll be crazy to think that Santino won't be driving an all blacked out car, that he'll be driving an American flag livery car. So I'm going to have to get used to that. But Kyle will be sitting next to him. And he even came out with some incredible new sponsor. And I would not be surprised that the livery will come in and match that. So it is very interesting to think about that kind of relationship with Santino. Now I think this is Santino's third teammate in, less than 4 years. So this revolving door of the second seat, can be frustrating at times. But I do think that Kyle, if he keeps performing, I think that seat will be his. Penske also has confirmed that there will still be a technical partnership with that second Foyt seat, even after Malukas's departure. And in my opinion, I think they're keeping that seat warm for Miles Rowe. If Miles Rowe continues to kind of show the momentum into 2026 and potentially win the Indy Next Championship next year, I do think that Kyle may be in the hot seat if Miles Rowe is nipping at his heels to take that Penske Technical Alliance. And I'm assuming there's some dollars and cents coming into the team seat. I think Penske is looking ahead, It's crazy to think and even to say Joseph Newgarden is approaching that age of, should I take time now I've achieved everything I need to achieve. If he has another season like he did in 2025, he might retire, right? And Scotty Mack would lead the team with Malukas, and then you have this newer driver coming in. I think Penske has realized that there is a rhyme and reason to why so many teams, especially the 3-seat teams, have a super veteran, a mid-level veteran, and then a rookie or a newbie doing that third seat, because it gives you the opportunity to test drive your rookie drivers. If they're not good enough, you still have two cars that are still up in the contention for winning championships, winning races, and winning the 500. And you also have the opportunity to nurture and grow some great talent versus just hiring great talent out the gate, because sometimes it just doesn't work out. Look at Roman Grosjean, right? So very excited for Kyle. I am a little shocked that Juncos wasn't calling Kyle every single day, being like, come drive for us. It would be an incredible opportunity for this team and the fans and the origins of Juncos. But we'll talk a little bit about JHR in a second. Man, Thanksgiving is this week, and we still don't have a second coin car. I am safe to say that Dale Coyne has decided to rightfully ghost us on Halloween and then came out and went, boo, I don't have anything for you. Bye. And then just ghosted back into full Houdini'd. And I think that Dale originally aimed to have Dennis Hauger and the lineup with Dennis solidified by Halloween, but Dennis got signed. The technical partnership with Andretti was signed. And then Rinus was just like, bye, I'm going to go race for Juncos. And I think Coyne was blindsided by that. I think that his lineup for 2026 was going to be Hauger and Rinus. And I don't think that Dale is upset at Rinus. I think he understands, rightfully so. With Carpenter kind of cutting him loose so late, Dale just took the opportunity to bring him on, and he did incredible in the machinery that he was given. But what I love about Dale is that he's pragmatic, and he understands the writing on the wall. And if another team calls that you already have roots with from the junior side, that's going to give you better machinery, better opportunity to make money, blah, 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 blah. Of course you're going to take that. So I don't think that Dale's upset with Rinus. I think that he's just like, why am I in this scenario again? It's like Groundhog Day, right? The good thing for Coyne is that there are some good drivers left in the market. The problem with these drivers is the drivers that are left in the market don't come with large Stingray Rob level budgets, Devlin DeFrancesco budgets. Okay. So you're looking at possibly Roman Grosjean. The guy just wants to go back to Coyne so badly because he wants to race. You have Connor Daly, who may or may not have been taken out of the JHR, seat contention. We'll talk about that in a second. As well as Linus Lundqvist, right? You also have the piece of news that was dropped around Mick Schumacher. Mick announced earlier this week his departure from the World Endurance Championship with Alpine. Does this mean all roads paved to the RLL Devlin DeFrancesco third seat? I think so. You don't have Alex Palou and Dennis Hauger doing eyes emojis in the comment section of Mick's post if you don't know something. Okay, you just don't do that. So I have a feeling that Devlin is going to get kicked out. I think that there is a clause in his contract that if you do not perform at a certain level, we can cut you. He was second to last. I think that is a rightful way to say you didn't perform, you didn't get leadership circle money. The Premas, who were brand new team that had some of the best and worst moments of the IndyCar season, beat you. Bye. Your money is not worth anything here because we're going to get bigger money with Mick Schumacher and that prestigious name of the Schumacher name. So I think unless Mick has another play up his sleeve, I think that Mick will be relocated to probably like Carmel or Fishers, Indiana, and will be racing for RLL next season. So with that, you have Devlin kind of out of a seat. We have seen this before where he lost his Andretti seat and kind of took a year hiatus and then came back with dollars and bills back to RLL. Now the question is, does Dale take the money or does he take the driver that doesn't have the budget? What I love about Connor Daly is that he does bring some budget. It's not huge, but he's a hustler. He will find money where he needs to find it. He is the number one scrappy, I'm going and lifting every single rock I can to get money. And I'll do it. And it showed this season. He got to ride a full year at JHR. And my assumption is he only had probably half a season's of sponsorship solidified, because a lot of these sponsors that happened second half of the season, they seemed like they were popping up. The All-American Reject sponsorship with Tyson, that was basically done over a bottle of wine and some vibes. And Connor solidified it and sold and got the ink dried to do it. So do you go with somebody who has experience in IndyCar that is good, that is an oval perfectionist? Just give Connor some good machinery, damn it. Maybe help you build out that oval package on the car. Do you go with Romain Grosjean? You go back. You go back to your ex-girlfriend of Romain Grosjean, right? You already know his ins and outs. You already know his quirks. You know what pisses you off. You know what he's good at. And you have a little bit of budget that comes with it. But Romain also makes really heated, emotional chances on the track. And we've seen it. I think Milena's been calling him the crash course dummy. You just see, he did that at Haas. He did it at Andretti. Like, that man just needs to breathe and do some therapy in the car when he's driving. Or do you go with Linus? Somebody who was keeping up with Scott Dixon's and the Alex Palous and kind of wiping the ground with Marcus and Kiffin at CGR, but because of the charter system was shit out of luck because he didn't bring a big enough budget. I would go with Linus. I think Linus has a little bit of money. I think that him and Dennis would get along really great. And he can perform. He has the performance. If Arrow McLaren wanted to have him be the reserve driver for Nolan Siegel when all of that shit happened during the 2025 season, if they believe that he was good enough to sit in a McLaren, I think he's good enough to sit in a coin. Please don't give the seat to Devlin DeFrancesco. That's it. And stop. I know the dollars and the extra zeros and all of that is going to be really enticing to a team that needs every single penny and nickel and vibe and prayer. Don't do it, Dale. We don't want Dogecoin on a coin. It would literally be a Dogecoin coin or a coin squared. So we'll see. I would love Mick Schumacher. I would love to see Linus back, or even Connor. But please, I know you're listening. Give it to somebody. Give it to somebody who wants to prove themselves versus having a mega paycheck. Love, Monica. All right. One other kind of fun news piece that happened over the last couple of weeks was we finally got the closing statements for the Palou versus McLaren arbitration lawsuit case, civil case, whatever you want to call it. The case finally closed. And just to remind all of our listeners, McLaren IndyCar team is civilly going after Alex Palou of the whopping amount of $20 million for breach of contract, having just after he decided to sign with McLaren and then go, oops, just kidding, I'm staying with Chip Ganassi Racing instead. The claim numbers is really what interested me. So McLaren lost, allegedly, about $1.3 million in driver salaries. Pretty low, right? Especially if you're Alex Palou. What's crazy to me is almost $7.3 million in sponsorship money from NTT. What? The fact of the matter is that NTT was like, if you sign Alex Palou, this is the amount we're going to give y'all. 7.2 plus $7.3 million. Ma'am, that's a lot of money. There are some, little tiny things around, General Motors and Chevy sponsorship. The other piece is $5.9 million in IndyCar sponsorships. Was that what? What did Zach promise his sponsors? That he was going to find the holy chalice and holy grail of Alex Palou, and he's going to win the Indy 500 as a McLaren driver. He's going to win the championship as a McLaren driver. He's going to be so good that, when Oscar Piastri doesn't succeed, I'm going to put him in the seat, or vice versa. You're telling me that by saying Alex Palou is going to race for you, it's equating to almost $13 million in sponsorship that Alex potentially lost to you, Zach? The small number is really around like $500,000 from F1 sponsors, and the fact that there were some F1 sponsors that were like, okay, there's a pipeline here, we're going to give you some money. And about $4 million in performance revenue, whatever that may be. It's just crazy to me that McLaren's arguing that Palou's breach caused significant financial loss and that his involvement would have attracted sponsors and improved the performance. I could see the performance piece, right? I could see him being Alex Palou in any car. Put him in a golf cart and he'd still probably win. But Palou's defense is that he was misled about the F1 opportunities and that they were overpromised and undelivered, which, as all of us do know with Zach Brown, it seems like that, right? Prime example. Let's go back to the beginning of the episode with Ryan Hunter-Reay and the Indy 500. Zach came out to the media like months ago being like, nudge, nudge, we've signed a rookie that's going to be jaw-dropping for the 500. And everyone's like, it can't be Alex Dunn. No one knows in the US who Alex Dunn is. That it was Valentino Rossi? And that fell through. So then he went, oh shit, gotta find somebody else. Well, DRR is going to only have one car and they signed Jack, so Captain America's available. And it just seems like Zach just does this. It's if he can't get his prized pony, his number one prized pony, it's like he's got a Rolodex of other ponies just waiting to go up. And if you're looking at the F1 championship and you're seeing what the team is doing to make decisions against Lando and Oscar, I think Alex probably is like, oh, shit, I'm happy I did not go there, right? Also, they signed Nolan Siegel. There's a lot of money that Nolan Siegel came with to mitigate the loss of Alex Palou. I'm assuming it's nothing close to $13 million, but who am I to know? So David Malukas really, I think, dodged a bullet here. He signed with McLaren, went, okay, broke my wrist, sorry y'all, got fired, went to MSR, went to Foyt, and now he's racing for the big team in Penske. So I think that McLaren's going to be fine. They have Pato. Yes, an Alex Palou, Pato, Christian Lundgaard lineup. Incredible. Perfect. Winning. But this seems like, I don't think that once the decision happens, which I really don't think we're probably not going to have a decision until probably the start of the 2026 IndyCar season. But going through McLaren's communication records, the suggested intentional misconduct in the evidence handling from McLaren, as a McLaren fan, I don't trust them as far as I can throw them. So I don't think that Palou's going to have to pay a lot. I think he'll still have to pay because I do think that there was some performance revenue that the team lost just from the fact that he won the 500 and another championship this year. So my assumption is that $4 million-ish that, they lost in performance revenue, I can see the court saying, yeah, you did sign with someone, you did say yes, and then you went, oopsies, I'm going out, I'm backing out. You got to pay that back. And Chip Ganassi said he's supporting Palou. He's helping him fund a lot of this legal, representation, as well as whatever's happening with the claim of, the court's decision. So we'll see what happens. But Alex Palou paying $20 million is not going to happen, in my opinion. I don't think that's going to happen. So I feel like this court case is just dragging on, and it's unveiling some skeletons in McLaren's closet and how they've been acting in the F1 side of the world is not helping. So I think they're going to need some cleanup in aisle 5 on the PR side once this is all done and dusted. You can't just keep putting Palou in front of the camera and being like, look, here's a fan favorite. Because fans are starting to get really frustrated with the way that the leadership teams are treating their drivers and potential drivers and, overpromising and underdelivering. So that's really what's happened over the last couple of weeks. Not a lot. In 8 weeks, we had maybe 5 big news pieces. Watch, Thanksgiving week, Dale Coyne decides to announce his driver after this episode comes out. But just some housekeeping as we close. With the U.S. Thanksgiving holiday, Milena and I will be taking some time away to spend time with our families and to decompress from the chaos that it comes with, the holiday season. We will be recording probably the week after Thanksgiving, so our episode probably won't come out. Another episode probably won't come out till probably the second week of December, where we'll finish off with, 1 or 2 more episodes until we conclude season 1 of Lap It Like It's Hot. It's crazy to think that, season 1 is almost finished. And then the last couple of weeks of December, we're definitely going to unplug and unwind and really take some time to spend time with our loved ones and our friends and family over the holiday and New Year's season. And then, season 2 kicks off and we're going to be grinding. There's going to be a lot to do before St. Pete. So appreciate all of y'all joining just me today. Don't worry, Milena will be back. And if you want to keep listening to our podcasts, like I said, go back and listen to the amazing guest podcasts that we had over the last couple of weeks on our Hot Lap segment. But if you want to keep up to date, follow us on Spotify, YouTube, and Apple Podcasts. Leaving a review and a 5-star rating definitely helps us with the algorithm to get more listeners like you to listen to us and start building a larger community around Lap It Like It's Hot. So please, if you haven't done so, any review or any comment definitely helps. And if you want to follow us on social, we're Lap It Like It's Hot on all main social platforms. If you don't follow us, give us a follow, give us a like, leave some comments. If you have any questions, DM us with your questions. We may do a Q&A episode as we conclude the year. And thanks, y'all, for listening. I really appreciate it. And stay tuned. And for everyone in the U.S., have a wonderful holiday. And for everyone else around the world, have a lovely week, and we'll see ya.